Oh, there's lightning.
Oh, there's lightning.
Wow.
We did notice this pre-game, but it was travelling away from the stadium. Obviously, there's a little bit more around.
Just to put that in perspective, 30 minutes ago, it was nothing but sunshine. So those clouds, and now the lightning's come in extremely quickly.
So we have had some dark clouds in the background. We thought they were moving away from us, but there has been some lightning. And as we know, with the rules, if it is deemed within 10 kilometres of the venue, we will have a break in play, and that is exactly what is happening here. So quite a dramatic opening couple of minutes here in Ballarat. An injury to Luca Kentfield, and now we're off for a little break due to lightning.
Well, I'm okay with it because I'm here tomorrow again. So I'll stay as late as we need to be
Dwayne, I
staying
reckon
here.
We're all here overnight, the way this is going to play out.
Because we are here tomorrow, St Kilda and Essendon. And look, if there's lightning tomorrow, we're here again on Sunday for North Melbourne and Collingwood. It's a footy bonanza in Ballarat this weekend.
Might be a triple header come Sunday if this continues too long, Dwayne. So the challenge for the players here, now they would have been possibly prepared that this may occur with the amount of information that they can gather pre-game, but we're just getting into it. Unfortunately had hopefully not a serious injury, but an injury of some description to Kentfield, and now the players are going to go have a pause.
You and I are quite used to this though, Dale. And AFLW, we've seen a number of lightning delays in that competition over the years.
I'd hate to say we're used to it, Jess, but it has occurred a few times. So the players will go in, they'll have a strategy already in place about how to either relax or stay warm, and how to hopefully prep for when they do return, Dwayne.
Won't happen in Tassie. They've got a roof down there that's being built, so that'll change things a little.
Love that by you, Dwayne. Love that. Well, we're only 2.5 minutes into the game. Let's just start again. Press reset and go again. So we spoke about earlier in the pre-game, Dale, around the expectations for the Tigers in 2026. A lot of talk around the young talent in the top end and how good they are, but ultimately, there's even talk during the pre-season around the Lamborghinis and how good they can actually be as a group. You're buying into it for what you see, and how important is this start for them?
You have a look at the start of this year, and we can link that into today's conversation. I think they need to take today extremely serious because they're in a development phase, they're in a growth phase, and you can't waste opportunities. And there's one name that just jumps out to me. We're going to speak a lot about these young guys, and rightly so. What about Gibcus? The young kids had a wretched run with injuries across the journey. He's only played 21 games, so these games are worth their weight in gold. You get field time, you get the fitness component, you get the real-life experiences of playing against a semi-seasoned team in the Dees, depending on who you're playing against or who your direct matchup is. So I think today is so critical. They don't play for another, 13 days, the Tigers, so they've got enough time to prepare and get their bodies right come that traditional Thursday night game of round one, but given that it's actually the second week of football, it's a little bit unusual. But then you go the Dees, the Suns, and 3 of those 4 games are at the MCG.
The Blues, you mean?
Sorry, the Blues, the Suns, the Freo, and then Port. But 3 of them are at home. So it gives you an opportunity just to instill some belief that what you've been practicing throughout the course of the pre-season, it's actually tangible. You can get some results off the back of that.
You were talking pre-game about their 2025 results, 5 wins. Do you think they almost overperformed with their list profile, given that there were a lot of people who said prior to last season they wouldn't win a game?
I'm trying to reflect before I remember the Carlton game.
No, the Carlton game, though, being there live, it was an unbelievable win. And I know we go back to that because that was probably the biggest highlight of...
Down by, what was it, 5 or 6 goals?
Exactly right. And the way they were managed that win and manufactured an outcome and didn't just drop away from the game. 30 points didn't become 60, it becomes a victory. So they take so much from that. And as outsiders sitting back and observing, you go, oh, hang on a second, because there was some excitement with some of the youngsters that performed extremely well that night. And now they've got another group of youngsters that they've drafted in top end picks again. So the reality is that they're building a really strong list here that can sustain their future and their success into the future. And we talk about that in 3 to 5 years' time. But at the moment, currently, this is a group, and you can clearly see it, that will have some success in the near future.
The bit that probably pleased me the most on reflection off the back of last year was not the 5 wins, because that was possibly over. I think that was about their line. But it was the way that they were better throughout the course of the year. Now, it didn't guarantee that they won some of those games, but you could see the evolution of this young team. They had some senior players missing football, and I referenced someone like a Tom Lynch. And quite often you need all your senior players to be playing a really solid brand of football so that young group can be nurtured and come through before they're completely exposed to senior week in, week out football. But I think their growth can be measured in different ways last year. So regardless of the win-loss, I think it was a successful season off the back of what we thought may occur.
And then you go to the Dees, right? They've got a new coach. So the spike of a new coach, which I've experienced, Al, and you can have a significant jump pretty quickly.
Yes.
And it's a breath of fresh air, and you can tell, you know, the way Stephen King spoke pre-game about brave football, but what that looks like, and he wants positiveness with their ball movement. Players love that. If they get a licence to push forward to the contest a little bit more and shape a little bit differently, then fantastic. And the guys that have been around Simon Goodwin's era for some time, they just get a different look at footy as well. So I think for Melbourne, if they get there, they have the health right on this list, they could seriously push towards finals footy this year off the spike of a Stephen King coming in to take them over.
So if you think they're going to push for finals, of those first 4, how many would you mark down as potential wins?
Wow, potentially 3. They certainly, the MCG games are winnable games for Melbourne in the first 4 weeks. So Optus Stadium's going to be tough. Fremantle for me are right in that premiership window to take it out. So Carlton, yes. St Kilda, yes. And Gold Coast is a challenge, but it's at the G. So we know how well, you know, the D's can play there.
So you asked me a really good question earlier about the Tigers. What's their number? So they had 7 wins last year. Just a percentage of, 93? So not bad. Not bad.
That's pretty good.
What do you see them doing this year?
In terms of win-loss?
So if you think they're pushing for finals, what's that number?
For me, it's got to be... I think 12 gets you in the finals this year, because I think it'll even up. We won't see sides...
Sorry, are we talking top 10, top 8?
No, top 10.
Very good question.
Top 10.
Very good question.
They could fight for the wild card round. And that could be 11 wins this year, because I think the competition's going to even up again. Bulldogs and Swans missed with 14 wins last year. Bulldogs had 14 wins, missed the finals. That's rare.
Yes.
That has happened because of the drop-off underneath in all the other teams because of injuries and other bits and pieces. So that gap will close. Melbourne will close that gap. Port Adelaide will close that gap. The Sydney Swans will close that gap on the top teams. And a couple of the top teams may drop a little bit as well. So all of a sudden, 10 to 12 gets you to wild card round. And the D's can do that.
So they'd be pretty happy with the wild card games being called finals?
I think so.
It doesn't count as a final,
No,
does it?
it does, yes.
On your stat sheet, when you retire, it says how many finals you've played. Wild card round,
Yes, the
play
AFL.
in, play out counts as one.
AFL has confirmed they are considered finals.
Yep.
It's harder not to play finals than it is, Brad.
I like that, Dal.
Early pre-season drive-by there
Yeah.
from Nick Del Santo.
St Kilda and North Melbourne in contention to finish in those 9th and 10th spots. Speaking of how many wins to make it, so Sydney last year finished 10th with 12 wins and 11 losses. So still had to have a positive ledger to finish 10th last year. And the year before that, 2024, Fremantle 10th, 12 wins, 10 losses and a draw. So you're still going to have a pretty good season
of course you are.
to make 10.
Yeah, but I think we're going back to talking about 14 teams that can realistically play finals in 2026. So that's where the competition is going to be so strong.